Hello, everybody. Welcome to tonight's United Ground episode. We've just decided to do Kiosk Ground on a Wednesday since I haven't been online all week. Busy times in my day job, but here we are. So, how are you doing? How are you feeling? Let's get this show started. Make sure you go to our YouTube channel, you like, share, and subscribe. Today, we are going to discuss big news regarding Benjamin Sheshko. Finally, we have some big news regarding that, and I can't complain about it. It's been chaotic, especially on social media on X regarding the player. Things broke quite fast. The news broke quite fast regarding the player, and we all know how things have been going on at United. One time we don't have money, all of a sudden we seem we are spending all a lot of money. We are bidding close to 90 million for Benjamin Sheshko, 85 million euros. Of course, Newcastle did bid 90, but we seem to be close to a deal. And yeah, so today we are going to talk about all that as well as any other United news. A bit of Anthony news. He's becoming a bother at United. It seems he only wants to go to one club. And make sure you also post your comments in the comment section below so that at least we can have a discussion, ask any questions. Like this stream as well, and make sure you follow all our pages across social media. So, Benjamin Sheshko has snubbed Newcastle, and Newcastle fans are fuming. They say there's only one United. Well, we know that it's Manchester United. Well, anyone who says United, they do know that it's Manchester United. They don't ask whether it's Newcastle United or West Ham. No, they just know it's Manchester United. And Newcastle are not having a good transfer window, it seems. How many players have rejected them? They've been rejected by Cunha, they've been rejected by Mbumo, by Ekitike. They, they are being rejected all over by Joao Pedro. And it seems, or it's not seems, it's confirmed that Sheshko prefers a move to United. So Newcastle are fuming. Last night, when the news broke that Manchester United have placed a bid for Benjamin Sheshko, it was basically more or less like a confirmation that the player has decided to join United. United's strategy at the moment is they are not going to sign a player if they don't want to come to the club, and it seems to be the case with Sheshko. So United were waiting for Sheshko to make a decision whether it's them or it's Newcastle before they placed a bid. And the moment we had that Onstin Bomber and the Fabrizio's update that Manchester United have submitted a bid, then it all went down that yeah, surely Sheshko has snubbed Newcastle. Well, it is, it is what it is. Am I happy? Of course, I'm happy. I mean, we are getting a good forward. Previously, in all my streams, I've said I do prefer having Watkins, but Sheshko is for the future. He can come in and perform now. I've seen a lot of people saying that he's not good enough to come and play for United. He cannot come and kick straight away, and I did mention that I'm a bit scared that he might not come in and start performing straight away. But Sheshko is one that you can't let go that easily. I would rather we try him out, it fails, rather than regretting not getting him. Yeah, 2 years ago, yesterday, we bought Hoyland for 72 million pounds, and the same day, 2 years later, we placed a 75 million bid for another young striker. Sheshko is only 22 years old, and there is that scare that he might come in and become another Hoyland. But those players are very different. Sheshko has more first team experience than Hoyland. Hoyland only played one season in Syria before United went for him. We know that Hoyland also performed well in his first season at United, but last season was somewhat of a one-off season. Um, I don't want to make excuses for him because he should have been our main forward. He should have been performing better. But being the only striker, the only dependable striker in the system, and then now having played under two coaches, Ten Hag and then now Amorim who came in and changed the system. That is hard for him. Remember when Hoyland was coming in, he was meant to be a Ten Hag signing, and then now Amorim comes in and wants a different sort of striker. And Sheshko is that. Sheshko is better in terms of positional play. He's more physical. His aerial ability is way better than Hoyland. And uh, of course, we know that he can score all sorts of goals. He can score bangers in terms of outside the box, tap-ins, headers. He can press. Like one of the policies at Leipzig is if you don't press, you don't play. And Amorim wants players that can press and can play. Um, I'm seeing a comment from Convergence in saying he had 9 goals when he came. I think you're saying Hoyland. Yeah, he did not have as many goals. And Sheshko has scored a lot of goals for a 22-year-old. I think he scored around 109, if I'm not wrong. He scored a lot of goals. And he's played at senior level more times or more minutes compared to Hoyland. And remember, Sheshko, as I mentioned in the previous live, this is a player we've been looking at since he was 16 years old when he was at Domzale or Domzale. And he's a player we've been tracking for quite some time. He's a player who's been wanted by a lot of clubs in Europe. Remember, Arsenal went for him first, were unable to do a deal with Leipzig, and then they opted for Gyökeres because Gyökeres was available and he really wanted to join Arsenal. So we are not going for a player that was seen to be a flop. I don't know why, whenever a player is touted or is said to join United, all of a sudden he's not good enough. Why weren't these comparisons coming in when he was going to Arsenal or when Arsenal wanted him? Yeah. You remember when Ekitike was linked to United, all of a sudden you have statistics coming out that he's not good enough for the Premier League, he's not good enough for United, blah blah blah. And then when he goes to Liverpool, no one is talking about it. Of course, fans like us as United fans, we might do a hate watch about him, but he won't get the same hate he's getting right now at Liverpool. So there is a lot that goes online, and fans will say whatever they want to say. Right now, Newcastle fans are saying that Sheshko is only going to United because of the money. Sorry, um, I don't know where they are getting the reported wages from. I saw one person on Twitter or X saying that he's going to get 250K a week. I don't think Ineos will break their wage structure that they are working hard to fix. Remember that they want to get rid of the high wage earners. Casemiro is on his last year of the contract; he'll be let go. We saw Rashford going away. They want to get rid of Sancho, and they want to have a wage structure where it does not surpass 200K a week. So if Sheshko comes in for 250K, no, we saw also when Mbumo rejected a move to Newcastle, they started saying that he's going to Manchester United for the money. He's going to be paid 250K, and then it turned out no, he's actually getting, I think, between 150 and 180K a week. So of course people will downplay it, but oh, we are happy we are getting Sheshko. I hope that we get a here we go or a deal is done by Ornstein and Fabrizio. But today I want us to have a look at the journey, the chronology of United looking for a striker. It's been quite a bit of a roller coaster, to be honest. We started back in June, and we're just going to go through the whole uh, idea, or we'll go through the whole event, all the events that led to United going for Sheshko. And let me just set up the scene. Live on TikTok as well as YouTube, X, and my personal Facebook page. So I have two apps running. So let's start with the presentation there. I hope you guys like it. There you go. So the chronology of Manchester United striker search in this transfer window. So in May we went in for Liam Delap. Ipswich got relegated. There was a release clause for £30 million, and he was United's first choice as a forward. Uh, United and Chelsea were interested in him, and Liam Delap and his agents wanted to move to a club that could offer him Champions League football. And seeing that Liam Delap wanted Champions League football and United missed out on Champions League football because of us not winning the Europa League, we lost to Tottenham. So he decided to go to Chelsea. He got the move, and United basically had to move on to other targets. We had reports stated that if United signed Liam Delap, we will not have gone for Brian Bomo. We have people coming out and saying that was the case, that Mbumo was the alternative to us missing out on Delap. Cunha was already part of the project, and this deal was done, or these discussions were done in June. And I believe part of the reasons why United wanted to sign players in June was to do with PSR. And we know that Cunha is not part of the current PSR period. That is 25, 26, and the next 3 years. Yeah, people might ask, where are we getting the money for to buy Bumo, to buy Cunha, to buy Sesko, and a midfielder and a goalkeeper? It's because Cunha cannot be regarded as part of the current PSR period. And I think that's why also clubs like Liverpool, City, Arsenal were going in to get players early in June so that it does not roll over to the next PSR period. So that was in May. In June, United started exploring multiple targets. So after we missed out on Delap, we started assessing other targets. We remember that at one time we went for Oshimen and we went for Victor Yokeres. Oshimen was deemed expensive because of the high wage demands. We couldn't go for him. So Yokeres, there were conflicting reports that he wants to go to Arsenal, he wants to come to United. Then much later in June or in mid-June, we started getting reports that he has chosen Arsenal and will only entertain a move to United if a move to Arsenal wouldn't materialize. So United were ready to bid for him, but you remember back in April, Amorim said that United only wanted to sign players that want to play for us. And when it came out strongly that Victor Gyökeres wanted to go to Arsenal, then Manchester United decided to move away from the deal. So we also showed interest in Nicholas Jackson. Yes, we did inquire about him. And I know a lot of fans didn't want us to sign Nicholas Jackson. But the evaluation is what put Manchester United off. Because Chelsea were asking for between £80 million to £100 million, and that's quite expensive for a player like Nicholas Jackson. Yes, this window is quite crazy. We have a lot of crazy transfer fees being thrown around. But Nicholas Jackson, for anything above 45 million, that is, let's say 40 plus 5 million in add-ons, I think it's too much. It's too much. It's not even, I think it's too much. It's a joke selling Nicholas at 80 million at least. It's a joke. So United decided, nah, we can't do a deal with Chelsea. And the funny thing is, Chelsea do value Nicholas Jackson at 80 million, and then they value Garnacho, who is a far much better player than Jackson, although he's a different profile, at 30 million. It doesn't make sense. So they buy Gittens for 55, but they want Garnacho for 30. And no, I don't think that's good enough. So those were the options that United went for after missing out on the lap. We went for Oshimen, Yokeres, Jackson. Osimhen decided to go back to Turkey. They are willing to match. They were willing to match the release clause and the fees, the wages he needed. Victor Gyökeres chose Arsenal primarily because of Champions League football, and then Nicholas Jackson deemed too expensive because of Chelsea's valuation. Now, in early July, just last month, so we moved away from the three targets or the three options we had, and then we decided to focus on Oli Watkins and now Benjamin Sesko. Oli Watkins and Benjamin Sesko, there was a whole story going around behind the scenes that Amorim wants Watkins, but Christopher Vivell wants Sheshko. So it was a matter of, I think, discussing and seeing which is the best option. Yes, United did inquire about Villa's Watkins, but Aston Villa said that Watkins is not for sale, as well as the transfer fee that Villa were asking for is not good, or is not the correct value in United's eyes for Watkins. United valued Watkins at 40 to 45 million pounds, while Aston Villa valued Watkins value Watkins at 60 million. We know at the moment that the striker market is quite crazy. There are few strikers, there are few good forwards that are available in the market, and we see the prices being quoted are very, very crazy. I mean, if we have Ekitike for 90, we have Sheshko for 80 and 90. Victor Yokerez, at least they had a gentleman's agreement or a release clause, and that was done pretty quickly. But those are crazy prices for the forwards at the moment. The players that we are seeing that are going on a cheap, most of them are defenders and fullbacks. So Ole Watkins, Benjamin Sheshko. So Newcastle also started pursuing Sheshko because Alexander Isak wanted to move either to the from the club. He wanted to go to Liverpool. So Isak wants to move. Who are the available options? Who's the best striker Newcastle could go for and is available? Is Benjamin Sheshko. The release clause is known, and the player also, I think he had said internally in the club that he wants to move to a bigger club if a move can happen. And there was a gentleman's agreement, as you can see down there, that United interest in Watkins was tempered by Villa's insistence that he was not for sale, while Sheshko's gentleman's agreement with Leipzig allowed a move for the right offer. So there was a gentleman's agreement between Leipzig and Sesko that if a special club comes in for him, that he would move for between 69 million pounds to, I think, 75 million pounds, and that's what United placed a bid for. We know that United placed a bid for 75 million euros plus 10 million in add-ons. And there were reports I saw earlier today that United are going to improve the bid or have improved the bid. And they are currently having discussions about that bid. So now Watkins, we decided to move away from Watkins. So the only remaining option we have or we had is now Sheshko. And that's why United went all out for him. So I know you noticed that, or you have noticed that the Watkins links faded away, and then the Sheshko thing picked up pace as of last week, especially over the weekend. Now, late July, United prioritized Sesko over Watkins because of his youth, potential, long-term resale value, and despite having Premier League experience, they see him as a fit for the project. Ineos MO at the moment, or the way they are signing players, is Ineos are signing young players that in the future will have a resale value. So you look at the current players they're signing, other than Mbumo and Cunha, who, of course, if we look at their age, 25, they are in their prime. And even if they don't work out, let's say in the next 2-3 years, we can get some resale value. Or if they work out and they decide to move away, we can easily sell them for 100 million plus. So United are going for players that they know they are of low value in the current market, and then in the future uh, their price will go up. You look at, for example, at Aiden Heaven, we got him from Arsenal at 1.5 million pounds. That is 1 million the transfer fee and 500,000 in compensation. So if we decide to sell Eden Heaven, let's say next summer or even this summer, we can easily get profit from it. We look at players like Dogu. We got him from Italy. I can't remember the club. Sorry, I'm zoning out. We bought him for around 32 million. That's a player, if we decide to sell at 50, 55, we get that resale value. So Sheshko fits that bill. Yeah, of course, the 75 million pounds is quite a lot. But if he comes and performs, he's 22. Let's say by the time he's getting his prime at 25 and he's scoring crazy goals like Victor Gyökeres, we could easily say, if you don't have 150 million, then we are not selling him. So when Manchester United now decided to intensify their move their move for Sesko, Newcastle, on the other hand, decided to intensify their move for Sesko as well as a replacement for Isaac. So now we have a two-horse race. Newcastle placed their first bid. It was not deemed enough. And then Manchester United started talking to the player. So in early August, as I've said, Newcastle placed a bid of 80 million euros in total. That is 75 million plus 5 million in add-ons. Leipzig viewed that offer as insufficient. Remember that the offer that Newcastle placed was based on the gentleman's agreement that Sheshko had with Leipzig in the event that a special club comes for him, he will go for that amount. So Newcastle, when they got rebuffed or the bid got rejected, they decided to improve an offer. I think there is a typo there. The offer was going to 90 million instead of 80 million. So Newcastle improved their offer. Manchester United, in the meantime, are waiting for Sheshko to say yes to them. So they were speaking to the agents. So last night, news came out. Was it last night or the day before yesterday, that Newcastle, Manchester United have agreements with the agents. Basically, the player has an agreement with both, a verbal agreement, but the player prefers a move to United. And Sheshko will come to United or we go to United, Manchester United, that is not Newcastle. If Manchester United can prove or can show that they can place a bid and it will be accepted. If it's not accepted, then he will opt to go to Newcastle. So until we get a here we go, the race is still open. We cannot say that definitely that Sheshko is going to United. No, until we have news that United and Leipzig have agreed on a fee, then we can start celebrating. Because remember, Ornstein stated that Leipzig accepted the new offer from Newcastle worth 90 million euros, but Sheshko is the one who rejected it and said, no, my heart is set or I've decided to go to Manchester United. And that's why Leipzig are discussing with Manchester United about now the transfer, the payment structure, and all that. So United made an offer. As I mentioned, once Sesko said that yes, I'll move to United, they made an offer of 75 plus 10, so totaling to 85 million. And Newcastle's bid is 90 million. So the bid for Newcastle is on the table at 90 million. Manchester United bids is on the table at 85. So a difference of 5 million based on the reports we've seen online. However, as I mentioned, that United did make an improved offer in terms of the upfront fee. United, we've seen so far this window, are trying to have a structured deal so that they have enough money to make further deals. The priorities we know are the forward areas, the two number 10s and a striker, and then the next bit of business should be in midfield and and the goalkeeper. So United make that bid. They make an improved bid, and based on the reports we are seeing online, is that talks are being held. So yeah, Sheshko rejects Newcastle and reaches an agreement with Manchester United on personal terms. Contract until June 2030. That's what Fabrizio stated. So the contract has been accepted. It's a matter of the clubs agreeing the fee. Sheshko is ready to board the flight, come to United, get the medical, and join the team. So Leipzig had accepted the 82.5 million plus 2.5 million bid from Newcastle. Sorry, I've stated different figures because I was trying to get from different sources what the actual figure is. But before I came on live, I saw that the total package was 90 million euros. But Sheshko wants United. Leipzig and United have started direct talks regarding the player in terms of the fee, the upfront fee, and the add-ons. And United want to structure the add-ons in such a way that they are quite attainable. So that's how the striker search has gone on since June. We started with Delap, missed out on him. The alternative was Bumo, but still we needed a striker. Then we moved on to um, sorry. Then we moved on to Victor Yokeres, Oshimen, Jackson. The moves didn't happen, and then we now had only two options that were left. That is Ole Watkins, Sheshko. Ole Watkins move couldn't happen because United value him at between 40 to 45. Aston Villa value him at 60. Then Sheshko is available. There is a gentleman's agreement that if a special club comes in, the fee can be around 69 to 75. Sheshko has said yes, and now United have placed a bid and in talks with Leipzig to make or to have the offer accepted. So that's the whole story about United's striker search. It's been a long journey for United, and a question to you, watching online or listening. What do you think? Do you think that Sheshko has made the right decision, accepting United's move instead of Newcastle, or choosing Manchester United in case of Newcastle? And we've seen a lot of Newcastle fans fume about it. I saw or I watched a video online about a Newcastle fan saying that United, they are a disgrace. Sancho is there. He has mental issues. He can't move away from the club because of the high wages. He realized he's made a mistake and he can't be able to move because of the high wages. And I was thinking, well, they asked for the wages, or even if United did offer it, he could have said no, that's too much, and I just want to play football. The other thing is he had an offer to go to Chelsea, and Chelsea were offering Sancho 180k a week. He decided not to move. He decided he doesn't want the salary, so he's still at United. We look at Anthony. Yes, we bought him at 100 million euros. He's been offered a lot of contracts by clubs. In fact, today I mentioned that we are going to discuss about him. And he has rejected moves because he wants to go to Betis. So we can't say that United are ruining careers. The players had the chance to perform. Bruno has been performing under all those managers. He has been performing under all those managers. Diogo Dalot, as much as he's erratic, as much as he's not consistent, he's been performing under all those managers. So when we say that United are ruining careers, how many players are performing? How many players are not? And every club has that sort of a player. They sign, they don't perform. Look at City. How many players have they signed and they've not performed? Even Newcastle themselves, how many players have they signed and they've not performed? You look at Liverpool, bought Chiesa, didn't work out. Darwin Nunes, now they want to sell him. So can we say that Liverpool has ruined his career? No. Well, United haven't won as many trophies, but as much as we say that United are on the downward trend, how many trophies have we won over the past 5 years? How many finals have we been in the past 5 years? Newcastle have won, I think, the trophy after 7 decades, 70 years, and now they are coming out saying that they are the much better club. Come on, seriously. I was having a chat with my colleagues at the office, and I was asking them, even you as a layman, someone who doesn't know a lot about football, and you are asked to choose between Newcastle and Manchester United, which one will you choose? Let's be honest, even the comment section, which one will you choose between Newcastle and United? I'm pretty sure that if the race was between Arsenal, who are in for Sheshko, and Newcastle, Sheshko will have gone to Arsenal. Both clubs are in the Premier League. They're in the Champions League. Sheshko was being offered more money by Newcastle. The club has been offered more money by Newcastle, and they've accepted Newcastle's bid, but the player has said no. I'd rather go to United. United is a much bigger club. There is no debate about it. You remember Alan Shearer? He rejected United, went to Newcastle. Well, he is a Newcastle legend. And I have a question to you, Newcastle fans who are watching, and Manchester United fans who are watching. Other than Alan Shearer, can we name any other legend since that time? In fact, let's even name the big players or the big name players that have played for both clubs over the past 10 years to a point where Newcastle got the Saudi money, performing well, have a fantastic stadium. They're in the Champions League. Let's compare the two clubs and just mention the names there. Even if you are Sesko and you are his agent, you look at Manchester United, the way they are rebuilding, you see that you'll have Cunha, you'll have Mumo, you'll have Ahmad, and you have Bruno Fernandes supporting you versus what Newcastle have. Which club will you choose? So, so as much as we want to compare both clubs, Manchester United will always be a bigger club. In fact, even when Arsenal were not performing as well, they were getting big name players. Mesut Ozil went there. Nicolas Pepe went there. They got big name players by the mere fact that they are Arsenal. City did not perform well last season, but they still got big name players. Even when Liverpool were not performing well, they were still getting big name players. They'll say all these things about the big six, about the red cartel, about the Super League, but the fact remains Manchester clubs like Manchester United, Arsenal, Liverpool, City generate a lot of revenue. Manchester United do not have a sugar daddy to give them money. They generate their own revenue. And based on how the rules have been set up, if you generate more revenue, you can spend more money. And that's a fact. That's a fact. We might have a whole discussion for the whole day about why Sesko has chosen United and not Newcastle. But it's clear, everyone knows, even the Newcastle fans themselves, the moment they saw that Manchester United are in for Sesko, they knew they wouldn't get the player. How many players did they lose out on? Ekitike went to Liverpool. Isak, their top player, wants to move away from the club. Yes, they built him, but he's moving away. So Newcastle is not a club that at this point in time, yes, they are building, they have the money, but until they get to a point where the big six, as they say, where the big six are, Newcastle cannot be able to match up to the allure, the interest, the name, the badge that clubs like Manchester United have. I was asking someone today, if let's say La Liga, pick a club like Barcelona, they were struggling, but they are still attracting big name players. Let's take for example Real Madrid have a bad season. They have a new coach. They get a bad season. They finish 15th. No Champions League. They don't win any final. They don't win any cup. They finish 15th. Next season they want to go for a player. Will a club like Sevilla or Betis come out and say, oh, why are they going to Real instead of us? We had a better season and all those things. So let's be true to self. Let's just be true to self and say United is still a big club. It's still a big name. We just had a bad season last season, and until we see, let's say, for the next 3 seasons or 4 seasons that we are fighting for relegation, then we can start saying that United are no longer a big club. Liverpool were always a big club, even when they were finishing seventh, eighth, sixth, fifth, struggling to get into Europa or struggling to get into the UCL. They were still a big club. Liverpool is Liverpool. Same way United is United. Arsenal is Arsenal. Yeah. So anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Has Seshko made a bad choice choosing United? Of course, I'm biased because I'm a United fan, but let me know what you think. So let me go to the chat. Pink Rose is saying Sheshko is going where now? Based on the reports, he's chosen Manchester United, not Newcastle United. He has chosen Manchester United. So that it seems that's where he's going to. Robert Karanja says, "I've seen we are going again for Baleba." I haven't checked the news. Let me just have a look right now whether there's. I saw that Indicalia posted that. Let me just check on X whether there are any news or there's any news regarding that. Well, the sources. I would say at this point in time, let's wait for the big names. And for me, I'm saying this transfer window. Let's wait for Onstein. Let's wait for Whitwell. Let's wait for Fabrizio in that order. So number one person to wait for to break the news is Laurie Whitwell. Number two is no, it's Onstein, David Onstein. Number two is Laurie Whitwell. They work at the Athletic, both of them. And then number three is Fabrizio. Fabrizio, I'd be honest, I'm a bit disappointed with him because he keeps repeating the same thing. Yes, he wants to get views, as well as fans keep asking him the same questions, but that's the way I'd go in terms of um, looking at the news. Yeah, so Baleba, um, Carlos Baleba is a talent. I would definitely go for him if we don't get uh, we don't get any other midfielder. I'll go for him, and if we have money, because Brighton will ask for at least £100 million for him. I don't see them going anything below £100 million. To be honest, they'd want to get what they got for what's his name, the Chelsea player. They'd want to get the same amount. They can't sell him for less, and they know that Baleba is someone who's being looked at by many top clubs. And trust me, the moment they say they are going to accept a bid for Carlos Baleba, we are going to have a bidding war. It won't only be United who go for him. There is going to be a bidding war. Clubs will go for him. We don't know whether even Liverpool decide to come in. They seem to have a lot of money. City might decide to go for him. Arsenal as well. European clubs like Real Madrid, we know that they want a midfielder. Barcelona as well. So let's see how it goes. Let's wait for the reliable sources. And I repeat, I keep saying in my lives, don't trust everything you see on X or online. Some guys are just doing it to get impressions. Let's see whether there is any other comment. Yeah, I don't see any other comments, but thanks everyone who's watching. I'm seeing Joe Obina, I'm seeing Oliver, I'm seeing Jevin, Lincoln, I'm seeing Snake Oil Merchant. Oh, that's an interesting name. How much is it? Let me know. Urban Finds. Also, make sure you like the video and you invite guys to join in. I want us to move now next to the next bit, which is to ask about this. What do you guys think about this attack? We have Cunha as a left 10. We have Sesko potentially as our center forward, and then we have Mbomo as our right 10. That should be scary. That should be scary. Joe Obina, you're asking who can advise Amorim to sign Emi Martinez? No one. Honestly, no one. I don't want him anywhere near the club. Yes, he's better than Onana, but no. No, I'd rather go for Sane Lamens, to be honest. And it seems that that's the next target. After we are done with Sheshko and potentially a goalkeeper, I wouldn't advise anyone. Please, 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 Joe Obina, or who was it who said it? Yeah, Joe Obina. Don't advise somebody. Martinez is similar to Onana in terms of the mistakes he does. He's cumbersome, And you know what? Let me just pull this down for now so that I have the full screen and look at you. Look at the fans. I don't know whether you've noticed this about our goalkeepers. That is Bayandia and Onana. They have a habit of looking at the ball when it's going in like this. They're like, for example, the on goal against Everton. Bayandia was looking at the ball like, the ball is going in. Onana the same. And then they start throwing their hands up in the air like, why? Where are the reflexes? Where are the reflexes? At least try to punch it or something, or try to touch it or kick it. We have goalkeepers who are like, it's like they don't care at all. It's like they don't care at all, to be honest. So Martinez is the same. He will give you a stellar performance, an amazing performance for like 70 minutes. And then he does something and then the game is thrown away. So Martinez, no, and then he's expensive. For that price, 40 million, 30 million, no, no. I'd rather go for San Lamens. He's younger, has more potential, he's available, he wants to come to United. So let's go for San Lamens. Let me read a couple of comments before we go to the attack. Uh, Jevin Nyakwar Abonyo says, thanks for joining and commenting. That this the guys on X, Facebook, and YouTube, I'm reading comments on TikTok, so I'm not seeing much activity on that front. Please make sure you post your comments, and I'll also check on my personal profile since I can't get them on the streaming platform. That front three, I believe, will be fire. Oh yeah, so let me post that now. That image. Let me go back the image. So Jevin says the front three, I believe, will be fire. I pray they bond very fast. I also hope so. I also hope so. The good thing is Bumo, Cunha, they have PL experience. They have Premier League experience. Sesko will be helped by those players. Remember that Bruno is quite good in terms of leadership and giving instructions. If you watch the Everton game, unfortunately, I dozed off. I didn't watch the game live, but I watched the replay. If you watched Mumo, he was constantly talking to the teammates, like, come, let's press, let's move higher, move lower, go to that position. And that will help Sheshko. Furthermore, Sheshko has that experience to get good positions. And working with Amorim, um, I'm sure they will gel quite quickly. And the other good thing is, although it's bad in another way, is that we're only playing one game a week. We're only playing one game a week. Let's get the comments in. Let's get the comments in about the front three. Onana is just worst. Yes, he is. He is. I think we need to stop buying players from Italy. To be honest, we need to stop buying players from Italy because we are getting robbed. We are getting robbed. Look at Rasmus, Onana. I think the last two players, in Dogu and Ahmad, they turned out well. I think Zaxi is okay. I want to see how he performs this season. Last season, when he came in, he did not have a good preseason and he was injured quite often. So let's see how it goes. But now, if you're getting Sheshko, does it mean that United will sell Hoyland, or Hoyland stays, then Chido goes out on loan? Personally, I would prefer to see Sheshko, Hoyland, Zaxi as our front three in terms of options, center forward options. Not the starting 11, sorry. And then Chido goes out on loan. Chido needs that Premier League experience. If we can get him a move, let's say, to a Premier League club, if not a Premier League club, a championship club, so that he gets used to the physicality of it. Sorry guys, I just want to check my personal profile for any comments. Keep the comments flowing. As well as, if you're on TikTok, there's a link in the description. Click on it, go to that page, subscribe, and like the stream. Uh-huh. Let's see. Any comments on here? No, no comments on Facebook, but thanks to Mwangale Chris who's watching. Let's go to the comments. I want to know what you think about the front three. Uh, you can't compare Onana to Martinez. Yeah, of course, Martinez is way better than Onana. Can we afford Baleba? At this point, I'd say yes. United has shocked people. Everyone knew that Manchester United or knows that Manchester United has no money. Then all of a sudden, we are spending 90 million euros on Sesko. Um, there was a story I was reading this early evening that Manchester United have exercised their option to extend their revolving credit fund. Basically, they've paid up an amount on the debt and they've been extended the loan and they've gotten more money, as well as they are depending on sales. So we might have a bit of money to buy a center midfielder and a goalkeeper, but I'm not sure about Baleba because, as I've mentioned, I'm not seeing Brighton selling him any less than 100. If they go lower, probably 80 million with add-ons. Huh. So let's see other comments. We just gone for Baleba. As I said, don't trust everything you read. I'm looking at X right now, and I'm yet to see any news from a reliable source. Oh, sorry, we have, we have. My God, Manchester United. This is from Onstein. As I mentioned, when you're going, it's our first bomber on the live. My God, we have Onstein. As I said, when I'm ranking sources, it's Onstein, Lauri Whitwell, and then Fabrizio. So Onstein says Manchester United contact Brighton via intermediaries to explore conditions of a deal for Carlos Baleba. Brighton do not plan to sell this summer, and all sides are aware a move may be unrealistic. But Manchester United are keen, plus sure, but should know in coming days if plausible or not. Wow. Wow. Thanks. Who was that who told me about it? TC. Thanks. I've just checked. Yeah, we are going for him. Okay, it's through intermediaries. We want to find out whether the deal is possible. So I'm reading the article from the Athletic. Brighton have made it clear they favor keeping hold of the Cameroonian international, who is under contract until 2028, with an option of an extended year. There is also recognition on all sides that a switch now may be unrealistic, especially if United seal their proposed move for Leipzig striker Sesko. So it also all comes down to how much money we have. Um, Jeff Jeff Hamed says Onana has played in 5 European finals and lost all of them. Oh, do you still want to play him in another European final in case we get there? No, no, no. Well, the club says that they want to keep him, but I'm seeing when we sign Sane Lamens, Bandia will go, Onana will stay, but I don't see him staying for more than 3 years at United. I don't see him staying anymore. Omar Berada has a policy, and he used it at City and the clubs he was at before. If a player does not perform in 2 seasons, he's off, and that's what we need to see. And it goes back to the discussion I mentioned about United want to get players on low value, low wage, so that when it comes to sell them, then it's easy. We need a Baleba kind of midfielder, Sylvester says. Yes, we do. Absolutely, we do. We are going to have an issue in midfield, especially when Bruno is going to play in midfield. We need a dynamic defensive midfield, an athletic one, press resistant, good on the ball, can pass the ball, is available to receive the ball. I've said that multiple times in the lives. Can go back to the YouTube page, watch the lives. You'll hear me mentioning almost every other show. We need a Carlos Baleba. If not, Adam Wharton, also he will be expensive. Those are the sort of player. Hayden Hackney, that's another player. I think he's moving to another club, but we could hijack the deal. But Baleba, of course, is the right age, not yet in his prime, fits Amorim's profile, fits Ineos's profile in terms of age. But the price, that's where the sticking point is. That's where we have an issue. Um, any good news, Abdul Ali? Yes, we have good news. Manchester United contact Brighton to explore conditions for Carlos Baleba. That's what we've just mentioned. So it's been a good period for United fans. Having Sheshko bid going in, talks happening, and then a few minutes ago, just 10 minutes ago, Ornstein confirms that United have gone for Baleba. Um, do you think, Abdulali, you also asked, do you think Baleba is our solution? Yes. Yes, he's our solution. We need a midfielder. I understand why we went for a centre forward and the two number 10s. Last season, we scored 44 goals in the Premier League. And any coach will tell you, whether it's an academy coach or a local coach in your local club, they'll tell you the best form of attack. And we all know this quote: the best form of defense is attack. The best form of defense is attack. I would rather have what we had in the Faggy days. We used to win 5-4. We used to win 5-3. You remember that comeback against Tottenham? I would rather win 2-1, 3-2, 4-3, instead of losing 4-0 or 4-2. If now we've sorted our forward, we need a midfielder. And why we need a midfielder is, and I mentioned this in one of the lives, we are very poor in transition. If you look at how Amorim has set up his system, is he needs one midfielder, one fullback, and one number 10 to pull possession to one side and then play a quick switch, transition, get into the attacking areas and score. In his system, he needs a midfielder who can go in deep, connect with center backs, play the ball outright to the fullbacks or to the number 10s or to the next midfielder and be able to have that transition. Right now, if you look at how we played against West Ham, we played against Everton, is whenever our midfielders get that ball, they are looking to lob it forward. They are looking to play short passes. But we need a dynamic midfielder who can connect the midfielders, that is the second number 6, the two number 10s with the defense. He can be able to cover ground. I mentioned also on TikTok, I posted a video about it, about the space that is left between the defense and the attack whenever we are attacking. Most of the time when you are playing Bruno in midfield, he is not positionally, he's not disciplined positionally. You can't ask him to stay in one position or to be in one zone whenever he's playing. Bruno is more of a number 10. He's a creative midfielder. He needs that freedom to move around. And we've seen whenever he plays as a either left hand or right hand, he is able to connect the attackers quite well. But now our weakness is Ugarte is erratic. He's poor on the ball. Kobe is very slow. Very, very slow. You saw against Everton, he's always 4 paces, 5 paces behind an attack. Casemiro is good, but his legs are gone. Age has caught up with him. And we need a midfielder that can be able to cover ground, can be able to cover the defense, and all that. Is good in defense, is good in attack, is good in passing, press resistant. We know right now the football tactics in all coaches that are using in their minds is pressing high. So we need a Carlos Baleba. Um, Nubis Kubis, interesting name. on YouTube. We need Baleba and a new goalkeeper. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Um, I've mentioned Baleba. If the move can happen, Onstein has said that it doesn't seem plausible at the moment. But if the move does happen, we get Carlos Baleba, and for a goalkeeper, I'll go for Sunny Lamens. I think we'll do the next live about the midfield options and the goalkeeping options. And then you head on to say not just transition, but also press resistant CM. Yes, I've mentioned that about Baleba. Look how at the moment Everton players were pressing our midfield, they panic. Yeah, it's not only Everton. We saw it against West Ham as well. The moment we get a press, um, Mainu Kobe is good in terms of managing the press and finding a way out of it, but he's slow. He's slow. I mentioned in the previous live that Kobe is more like Michael Carrick. He needs to look at Michael Carrick and Frank Lampard. They were not fast players, but they were able to adapt their abilities to look good. And they were able to cover ground. They now started having positional awareness. They were not everywhere at every time. And that's what we need from our midfielders. And then you go on saying, I really don't understand why Amorim wants to keep Bruno, knowing that United were planning to sign two new number 10s. Makes no sense. Bruno is not a great CM. He is a great number 10, though. Look at it this way. Ahmad, Bumo, Onana will be leaving for AFCON. I think in January or December. So there is a period we won't have Mbumo and Ahmad. Look at the other number 10 options we have. We only have Mason Mount, who can play as a 10. Of course, Kobe can play there. I don't see any other option to play as a 10. As well as when you're in a transition period, that is point number 2. When you're in a transition period and you're looking to build a squad, you need to give the other players confidence. So Bruno has been our best player for the last 3-4 years. So when you sell your best player, you start losing confidence in the squad. You start losing the dressing room. Yes, I would have sold him for 100, 120 million. I would have sold him and gone for other players. But it is not the right time to sell Bruno this summer. I'd keep him for one season, then sell him next season once I have a good squad in. Because Cunha has come in, Bumo has come in, Sheshko is coming in, Ahmad is progressing, Kobe is progressing, and you need to have those players performing well so that when other players are looking at the dressing room, it's not only Bruno that is performing well. So, yes, we could have sold him, but you need to have a look at also the team dynamic, the team chemistry, the mentality in it. And then Mount Zaxi Mainu can play as a 10. Yeah, they can do. Zaxi can play as a number 10. I would like to play him as a forward because Jay Z can play in the system we played against Everton, and the system was you found that we started Cunha and Mbumo as the two tens. And then there's a time Bruno was playing as a number 10, Mbumo was playing as a forward. No, Cunha started forward, and then Bruno and Mbumo were the two tens. So they kept rotating. There's a time Cunha is playing as a forward, Bruno drops in as a 10 with Mbumo. There's a time Mbumo, latter stages of the first half, he was playing as a forward, and then Cunha and Bruno was playing as the two tens. So yeah, let's now look at the TikTok comments. Abdul Ali, you say not everybody, please. How do you mean, or what do you mean? Manu Carlos Baleba, yeah, it seems that United are exploring a deal. Any news about Sheshko? At the moment, no. The only news that is there is that there are club to club talks between United and Leipzig to discuss about the structure of the deal, the upfront fee, the breakdown of the add-ons. There are other people who are coming out and saying that the deal has already been agreed. It's just waiting paperwork and all that. So let's wait and see what happens. Uh-huh. Mm, 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 mm. Yeah, we already made an approach for Carlos Baleba. Manu, yeah, I think I've responded to that by your previous comment. Abdul Ali Ugarte is not the kind of Manchester United, or is not the kind of Manchester United player. I agree with you, but I also think Ugarte has taken a lot of time to settle in the Premier League. He's a good player. If you've watched him when he was at Sporting and Amorim, and when he was at PSG, he was playing well. Sorry, he was playing well, but he has failed to adapt to the Premier League. So let's see how it goes this season. I'm seeing him being sold next summer, or if a bid comes in right now, he will be sold. But I don't see him staying United for long. But let's see how it goes. I'm still giving him the benefit of the doubt, to be honest. Hey, baseball, we come expensive. Okay, I don't understand what you're saying, K dot. Sylvester, news coming out, Brighton are ready to sell Baleba. Where did you get that? Where did you get that? Please let me know so that I check it out. Taremo says Sesko for sure coming to Manchester United. Yeah, I think he is. The fact that Newcastle are offering him more wages, Newcastle have offered more money to Leipzig, and Leipzig have respected the player's wishes and have started talks with United. It says that he's coming. But as I mentioned, let's not celebrate until we see a here we go or a done deal by Ornstein. Kevo, nimesikia something on Baleba to United. Yeah, the club have started talks. Wameanza kuongea. They've started talks to explore the deal. It's not about a bid. They are not talking about money. They are talking about the possibility to place a bid. Unless there's something that has been posted right away. No, same news. United have sent intermediaries to Brighton. Yeah, so the Seagulls will only accept a move or accept a transfer fee of around 100 million euros. As I mentioned, I'm not seeing Baleba going for less than 100 million. This is quoted 100 million euros, but we know that last summer or some time ago, is that I think also in January they had stated 100 million pounds. Uh-huh. Taremwa Sheshko for sure is coming to United, of course. Evening. What about a deal for Xavi Simons to Chelsea? Yeah, it seems to be happening. From what I gathered online is Chelsea want Simons, and then after Simons they want to go for Garnacho. Sorry, I'm zoning out. It's been a long day. Uh, Last few minutes I read the comments. Devin Onstein amesema United have made an approach. Not really an approach per se in terms of wanting to buy the player, because I'd say it's an approach via intermediaries to see whether the deal can happen. United are being smart this time round. Ineos have really changed a lot of things. As much as people are hating them, Ineos have done pretty well in the transfer window, because they're only going for a player if they know that, number one, the player wants to come to United, and number two, that the club is willing to do a deal, and number three, that the club that they are doing a deal with will accept a good payment structure. Why? Number one, the player wants to move to the club. It keeps other clubs off of them. It avoids a bidding war. Look at Cunha, look at Mbumo, look at Sheshko. So if Baleba says, yes, I only want to go to United, then Manchester United will certainly make the deal happen, because Brighton now can't say that there is another club who's offered 100, so you have to match the bid or you go higher. And then, of course, United say, yes, we will pay the 100 million euros, but we have now to agree on a payment structure. So Ineos are being very smart. We are not having the BS we were seeing under Edward Woodward. Um, let's see other comments before we end the live. Um, Nubis is saying, let's pray someone is willing to pay that 100 million again next summer. For who? Let me know. Let me know who you mean. Do you mean Carlos Baleba? There is one thing I dislike about Baleba's deal is that he will be gone to AFCON in January. Yeah, precisely what I was saying about keeping the likes of Bruno, uh, having the likes of Ugarte, um, Toby Collier. I'm not sure whether he'll go out on loan. He can be an option in midfield. So from what I'm seeing, and if you look at the list of players we have, our midfield is a bit stacked. We have options to play in midfield, but they are not good options. So if we sign Carlos Baleba and he goes to AFCON, either way, he won't miss a lot of matches. Either way, the players who are going to AFCON, they won't miss a lot of matches. I think they'll miss probably at most 6, 8 matches. I'm not sure. I have to check the rounds how they are played. So either way, we won't miss them for too long. It could be a month. You remember Onana? Onana stayed in late, didn't go to AFCON. I think he went there. I think he played for 2 games, came back. So, and we have teams who are eliminated early. They can play the group stages, 3 matches. They get to the knockout phases. They are knocked out, and the player is back. So, um, yeah, I'm not too worried so much about AFCON players, but it's good to have good midfield options. I know somehow I've contradicted myself with what I said earlier, but yeah, we have to consider players going to AFCON, injuries, suspensions. So we have midfield options, but we don't have good midfield options. Your analysis is 100% on point. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Or is it sister? Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm humbled with that. Um, yeah, I think that's it. Unless there is any last comment before we end the live. Thanks, guys, for watching. Guys, on the TikTok stream, click on the link in the description. Go to the YouTube channel. Make sure you hit the subscription button. You like the video, share. Make sure guys come on to this channel. I want this to be as non-toxic as possible. You know, a lot of Manchester United pages, fan channels have started to be toxic. They are thriving on negativity. I don't want to be that. I want to be objective. I even previously I've always tried to be objective with my points. We might not agree. There is no point of being toxic. We can agree to disagree, but let's try to build a community here. Go to United Core Ground on all our socials, and you like the pages, you follow the pages. Go on YT, click subscribe, and I'll read Nubi's last comment. Then we end the live. That I would love United to sign Baleba and Hackney/Stiller. I think Hackney and Stiller have already gotten moves to other club. Let me just confirm. I think Hackney has already hidden Hackney. Let's see. Yeah, I'm seeing Everton have made an approach to Hayden Hackney. So he might be moving there. We know that also Everton have bid for the Southampton midfielder. What's his name? The one that was quoted 100 million. Stiller, I think he's also moving. Stiller, I think he's also moving. I think he was going to. Is it Leicester City? Angelo Stiller. I think yeah. I think he's moving to a club. So unless Manchester United hijack the deals, but the window is still open. I think we have around 3-4 weeks to go. So let's see how it goes. So thanks a lot for joining. Thanks for all the comments. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the new subscribers, the new followers on TikTok. Everyone who's been watching on my personal profile. Let me see whether we have any other comments there. No, we don't. But thanks for everyone for keeping here, keeping in touch with me, following the page, viewing everything you've done tonight. You've really, really done me proud, and I feel good to have a community watching. So until next time, I'll try to see whether I can go live tomorrow or Friday. We always go live on Friday with this particular segment of Chaos Qua Ground, just analyzing what's happening on the ground. Hopefully, we can go live tomorrow or Friday, but make sure you have your notification on the channel on, or on the TikTok live on, so that whenever we go live, you're able to join. So until next time, cheers and God bless.